My beloved child, long ago, in the silent night across the plain of Sodom, Lot's wife looked back only once, yet it was enough for her life to harden into a pillar of salt. I had spoken beforehand, the warning had sounded, but the human heart still yearns to turn its gaze toward what I am calling it to leave behind. That story is not old, for even now countless souls keep looking back to the past, to their sins, to the very things I have said to release, and when it all collapses, the only words left echoing in their minds are, if only. Do not let regret be your final answer to my voice. Do not discover, when every warning has fallen silent, that it was the last love letter I sent. Do not wait until the light has gone out to hunger for the small flame that once guided your steps through the dark. Many think my warnings are a burden, a fearful thunderclap that shatters the day. But truly, child, I do not seek to frighten or make you tremble. I am trying to rescue you before you destroy yourself. Instead of thunder, I often only knock softly, stirring your soul through events, through teachings, even through my silence. Each warning is not a punishment, but the last lifeline flung before the wave swallows you whole. Look deeply, and you will see. My love hides within every precept, not to control, but to redeem. Yet people tend to prefer their own voice to mine. As pride swells and the habit of self-justification grows, your ears lose their sensitivity to the breath of the Spirit. The most dangerous quiet is not when I am silent, but when you no longer listen. For when you hear only yourself, you will suppose that whatever pleases you must be right, and whatever resists you must be a threat. I still speak, still knock, still invite, only now my voice has been replaced by the noise of the world. Then the gentle invitation of today becomes tomorrow's alarm bell. In that hush, the enemy steps in with a honeyed tongue. He never threatens, he flatters. He never drives you away, he lulls you to sleep. He paints you a picture of boundless freedom without limits, but behind it lie chains. Not everything that glitters is grace. Some lights blaze so brightly that you fail to see how you are slowly being bound in sin. I warn you not to strip away your joy, but to tear off the mask that hides your ruin. Because I love you, I may wound to keep you from a wound beyond return. Often I only knock softly at the door, but it is the sound of love seeking to save, not to menace. From the beginning, I have used warnings like gentle cords pulling people back from the abyss. I warned Adam before the forbidden fruit touched his lips. I warned Cain before sin crouched at his door. And I warn each of you now, when I see a heart drifting from the orbit of grace. A warning is not the lash, it is the life buoy in a storm-tossed sea. Whoever treasures it will be saved. Whoever scorns it will learn the bitter weight of, if only. And by then, those words will help no more. Therefore, child, do not fear my warning, for pulsing within each one is a heart that still beats for you. There was a time when the prophet Jonah was sent to Nineveh to proclaim, 40 days more, and the city will be overthrown. It sounded like a sentence, yet hidden within was their last chance to live. Jonah did not want to go, for he knew I am gracious, slow to anger, rich in mercy. He feared that if they repented, I would forgive, and his prophecy would seem to fail. What Jonah did not grasp is this: every warning from God, however it may sound, is a ticket to salvation, placed in the hand of someone about to drown. I am not trying to terrify you, I want you to live. There are souls who, when they hear me say, stop, imagine I am curbing their freedom. But I have never fashioned a law to bind you only to keep you from a precipice you cannot yet see. A child walking at night, if his father cries, do not take another step, is not shouted at because he is hated, but because a cliff yawns ahead. I know you prefer quiet to correction, for admonition presses on the shadowed corners of the heart, those places you would rather leave untouched. When I speak, it is not to shame you, but to draw you out of the dark. If I were truly silent, it would mean I had left you to choose a path of ruin without intervention. I have watched you hear and still go on, understand and still persist, not because you disbelieve me, but because you believe you can manage the consequences. You think you are strong enough to halt before it is too late, clear-headed enough to know when to turn back. But sin never stands still. It advances step by quiet step until it walks in your stead. A small habit, a single concession, a tidy excuse, these are the first footfalls of the abyss. When I warn you, it is not to forbid you life, but to guard you from what is draining life out of you. For when you cast aside my voice, you turn not only from instruction, but from your very life. People often ascribe to me only wrath, yet if you look at the cross, you will see love as the sole motive. If I truly meant to punish, I would not need warnings, nor drops of blood. A single decree could dissolve all things. Instead, I chose another road, long, blood-stained, patient, so you would know I do not want to lose you. My warning is therefore not harsh thunder, but a quiet plea. Child, do not wound yourself anymore. When you hear admonition, remember, it is not condemnation, but the heartbeat of my love. What pains me most is not that you fall, but that you think I have stopped loving you. My warnings do not rehearse your failures, they recall your chances. They are a bell through the storm, a hand extended in the whirlpool, yet the one thrashing in fear refuses my grasp, convinced he can still swim. I never force anyone back, but I keep the rope in, my hand waiting for you to let pride slip and take hold. Every warning is an invitation, and you must be the one to answer. Many times I have spoken and you did not hear, not because your ears are deaf, but because your heart is crowded with other voices. I spoke through sleepless nights, through the frank counsel of a friend, through the scripture you read and set aside. I spoke through quiet losses and hairline fractures you dismissed, through even those worries you chalked up to chance. But when I knock and you are still busy listening to yourself, then, even if the door stands open, you remain outside. When upheaval comes, you accuse me of anger. No, it is the firm touch of a father shaking a child who is collapsing under his own illusions. The world teaches you to dodge every ache. I teach you to face it and learn what needs healing. I do not send pain to destroy you, but to show you where you are wounded. My warning is like a needle on an unhealed sore. It stings, yet it is the beginning of recovery. I know you are afraid, weary, accustomed to whispering to yourself that all is well, but true love will not let you rest in a lie. It touches the place you least want touched, only to remind you I am still there, still saving you day by day with my patience. Do you remember Saul, child? Chosen by me, set on the throne, yet he forgot that no crown can replace the voice of God. He was warned again and again, but pride convinced him he was wise enough to help me. Then the light withdrew from him, like a lamp ebbing out in an empty room. You see, I need not strike to punish. If I fall silent, the darkness comes in on its own. Warning is the voice of light. When light draws back, the night requires no invitation. Therefore, child, when I warn you, do not be afraid. Be afraid when I have nothing more to say. The words that unsettle you are often the very words that pull you back from the brink. When I cut something away from your life, do not assume I wish to rob you. Understand that I am clearing a space where true peace may dwell. Sometimes healing requires loss. To truly live, the corrupted part must die. I do not take your joy. I want you to taste joy as it truly is. Many will listen only after everything has collapsed. I do not want you to learn your lesson in ruins. I want you to see before the darkness swallows all. When a warning comes, it does not shatter your peace. It unmasks the counterfeit calm you once believed. I do not frighten you. I awaken you, and sometimes that awakening hurts more than the nightmare. Yet only wakefulness can save the soul that sleeps in the stupor of sin. If you understand that warning is a sign of love, you will stop running. You will see that each reminder of mine is not a wall to block you, but a fence to keep you safe in a world riddled with snares. I admonish you not to control you, but because I fear losing you. I advise you not because I dread your mistakes, but because I fear you may not find the road back. Every word I speak is a thread that leads you home, and if you cut it, I will keep weaving, patiently, until you take hold again. When you choose to pause and listen, you will find peace, not the fragile quiet of someone who only wants to be left alone, but the peace of one who is being led. Then a warning is no longer a threat, it is the gentle breath of love. True love knows how to say no, and when I say do not, it is my way of saying, I love you. One day you will understand. Warning is a grace, not a burden. To hear it means you can still be saved. To feel that holy unease means the Spirit is still breathing in your heart. Guard that grace, for some no longer hear anything, and that silence is the soul's deepest abyss. Do not run anymore, child. Let my word reach you, rouse you, correct you, and lead you home. For as long as I am warning, I am loving. When you no longer hear me, do not rejoice that is not peace, but the slumber of a soul that has muted its Father. And when that light still flickers somewhere in your heart, follow it, for at the end of that road I am waiting by a door that has never been locked, asking only one thing: the courage to return. There are times when I only sigh softly in the wind and you do not hear, not because I do not speak, but because the noise within has drowned out everything else. You are absorbed in the echo of yourself, your opinions, your feelings, your plans, even your complaints. Amid the loud score you have composed, my voice has become a single note swallowed up. Then you say, I am silent, that I am far. In truth, it is you who have walked away, filling the distance with your own reverberation. The most dangerous stillness is not when I cease speaking, but when you listen only to yourself. In that space, reason becomes an advocate for sin, and emotion ascends the throne of the ego. You hear yourself approve and assume you are right. You feel your heart agree and mistake it for the Spirit's whisper. And when I murmur something contrary to your will, you rush to cover your ears with 100 reasons that I do not understand, that I am strict, that I demand too much until my word lies buried beneath the very wisdom you trust. Someone once said to me, I can't hear God's voice anymore, but if their mind is crowded with worries, plans, and calculations, how can my voice slip in? It is like a room packed with blaring music. No one notices there's a knock at the door. I never stop speaking, yet you choose to listen to what soothes you more. My voice invites you out of your comfort zone, while your own voice lulls you to sleep in a soft cocoon, and you have chosen sleep over awakening. At times, even success makes you deaf. When everything goes well, you think you are being blessed by me, yet in truth, I am quietly watching to see whether you still hear my voice. The world applauds, and you take it as confirmation from heaven. But not every burst of applause is a blessing, child. Some ovations rise from hell, meant only to make you forget the road to heaven. And I, seeing you absorbed in human approval and forgetting your Father's voice, can only call gently, Child, do you still remember my tone? Long ago, King Solomon was given wisdom above all others, but then he let his heart be enthralled by the sweet voices of foreign women. They spoke softly and sang to please him, until his ears forgot the voice of the one who had given him understanding. In the end, wisdom turned into folly. Do you see? Let your heart tilt even slightly toward another sweetness, and your feet will stray from the narrow way. You need not defy God to drift from God. It is enough to be preoccupied with your own voice. When you live by the habit of self-justification, your conscience grows mute. You soothe yourself. God understands me. God will sympathize. But you forget that my understanding does not mean my approval. My love is not indulgence. It forgives, but it also requires. And whenever I speak, it is not to shame you, but to rouse the part of you that is slowly dying. If you keep comforting yourself with your own arguments, you will no longer hear the pain of your own soul. Then even my voice becomes only a distant echo, a lovely memory in the heart of one who has ceased to love. I know you fear silence, for silence exposes who you truly are. In stillness you must face yourself, something you have been avoiding for so long. Yet only in silence do you hear me most clearly. Not in the crowd, not in cheers or splendid ritual, but in the closed room where only you and I are present. There, every other sound fades, and only one voice remains, gentle yet resolute, reminding you of what you have forgotten. Many times you say, "I prayed, but why doesn't God answer?" Child, I do answer, but not with the sound you expect. I answer through waiting, through trials, through silence, those very things you dislike most. Because only when you stop speaking do you begin to hear. Only when tears fall do your ears open. You think I am silent, but in truth I am speaking the language of patience. For sometimes a father must be quiet so the child will stop arguing. Some seek my voice only when they are desperate. But if along the whole journey you hear me only in tears, is that still a relationship or merely a cry for rescue? I want you to learn to hear me in the calm days too, when nothing is pressing you. To hear my voice in peace means your heart has learned the rhythm of heaven. Do not wait until you lose everything to recognize the voice that once felt familiar. By then, that loving call will be only an echo in the hollow of regret. Do you know this? What hardens the soul is not heavy sin, but getting used to small ones. When you tell yourself, "This little bit is fine, that's no big deal," you are training your heart to forget the sting of remorse. And then, when I speak, my words no longer pierce, conscience stops its ears, and the soul sleeps on in. The intoxication of self, that is when you are deaf without knowing it. When you stop listening, I do not stop calling. But I will not shout, for love does not coerce. I simply walk beside you, waiting until you realize that the quiet in your life is not peace, but the absence of my voice. And then, if you only turn a little, you will hear the familiar resonance again, light as a breeze, yet enough to stir your whole soul. Child, learn again how to be still. Do not rush to ask, do not rush to speak, do not rush to explain. Just sit, just breathe, just let your heart grow calm. In that stillness you will find that I have never been far. I am still here, still speaking, still waiting. Only now you have just relearned how to listen. And when your ears touch that gentleness, you will understand. Silence has never been my absence. It is the space I fashioned so your soul might find its way home. When at last you truly hear, you will no longer be afraid. My voice will no longer be command, alone, but companionship. You will recognize each sign, each intuition, each word of Scripture suddenly lit with meaning as words I speak personally to you. Then you will not need me to shout above the noise of life, because a single breath of mine will be enough to halt your misstep. From then on, your heart will learn something deeper, that sometimes the most frightening thing is not failing to hear me, but no longer wanting to. And when you see this, you will even be grateful for the words that unsettle you, for they are the very ones that keep you alive. And when your heart begins to open, when the inner ears are no longer shut, you will realize that every voice in life, even mine, points toward one thing: true freedom. But to reach that place, you must pass a dangerous crossroads where false, sweet voices wait to lull you to sleep. And there, another story begins. There are voices that do not sound in the dark but speak in the full light. They talk of freedom, of love, of happiness, so much like me, yet missing one thing: the cross. The enemy does not come with a fierce face but wears a gentle guise, speaking words so sweet that the listener forgets he is being lulled. It does not urge you to sin, it only tells you to allow yourself just a little. And so, bit by bit, you trade truth for compromise, reality for comfort. Chains do not fall with a clang, they are wrapped in velvet soft, warm, until you mistake them for the arms of peace. I have seen many souls begin this way, not with rebellion, but with self-indulgence. Sin rarely appears in a terrifying form. It often borrows the face of a good twisted out of shape. The enemy speaks of self-love, but omits self-denial. It says, be authentic, while hiding the very part you ought to change. It warps my language, turning mercy into weakness, forbearance into permissiveness, the gift of freedom into an excuse for the flesh. And when you listen long enough, you will no longer know which is the Father's voice and which is the tempter's. Do you know, Eden was not lost to murder or open revolt, but to a clever flattery. The serpent did not force or threaten, it merely hinted, perhaps God fears you will become like him. One suggestion, but it touched concealed pride, and humanity chose the forbidden fruit, thinking itself free while forfeiting freedom. That is how the enemy works today. It need not make you renounce God. It only needs to persuade you that you no longer need to listen to me. It knows your independence, severed from grace, soon becomes a prison for your own soul. What is frightening is not the devil shouting, but his whisper saying exactly what your heart wants to hear. He praises your kindness so you will not face your sin. He tells you that you deserve better so you cease to be humble. He urges you to follow your true feelings so you forget what is right. Then he binds you not with chains, but with compliments. You bow not from fear, but from being stroked. Some souls are destroyed not by blows, but by words like, I understand you, you've done nothing wrong. When praise replaces warning, when you seek comfort rather than truth, that is when you are imprisoned in the dungeon of illusion. He knows you fear rejection, so he trains you to please people. He knows you fear loneliness, so he leads you to compromise for acceptance. He knows you fear suffering, so he whispers, a good God will not let you endure pain, and you believe, forgetting that the cross is the only road to the resurrection. The enemy does not smash your faith, he swaps its meaning. He makes you believe in a God of tenderness without justice, a God who permits anything so long as you feel happy. But faith does not save if it is not true, and love does not save if it refuses the path of sacrifice. Child, when you begin to compromise, the shackles are already on your wrists. Each time you say, only this once, the chain tightens another ring. It does not hurt, but it grows heavy. One day, when you wish to lift your hands in prayer, you will find it harder than before. When you want to run to me, your steps will slow, and you will think I am far, but no, it is the chain you have been feeding that holds you back. The enemy's chains are not forged of iron, but of comfort. They do not strangle, they lull. They do not strike, they flatter. And the most bound person is often the one who imagines himself most free. Sometimes I allow you to go far, so you can feel the weight of those chains for yourself. When you cannot breathe amid the things you once called happiness, when every compliment feels hollow, when the joy you chased is only a fading coat of paint, then I am calling. I do not come with anger, but with the sigh of a father watching his child lost in a maze of his own making. If you stop, grow quiet, look yourself in the eye, you will see the lock is not snapped shut. It needs only your open hands. But the hardest part is not breaking the chain, it is admitting you have been bound. You will see that what is false always needs noise, while what is true is at peace. The devil needs the spotlight to show off its shadow. I need only a small lamp in the night to find you. The enemy teaches you to hide. I teach you to confess. It says, be strong. I say, Be humble. It says, believe in yourself. I say, believe in me. Those two paths may appear close, yet only one leads to life. You cannot heed me and still harbor its voice in your heart. If you leave even a corner for it to speak, it will lay claim to your whole soul. I know the whispers within you, the voice that says, live as you please, the voice that insists, let no one judge you, the voice that soothes, God understands, it's fine. But child, not every understanding springs from compassion. Some words come from deceit that wants to keep you tangled in its net. When I caution you, I am not taking away what you love. I am returning to you what truly has worth. You call it loss, but I call it salvation. And when you dare to step out from that honeyed flattery, you will find that my silence is no longer frightening. You will understand that when I leave you alone, I am separating you from the false voices that have clouded your mind. Only when you are by yourself, with no other sound, will you hear the Father's voice again. That voice does not flatter, does not promise, does not cajole. It simply says, come home, look closely, and you will see. Every chain begins with praise, while every deliverance begins with truth. And truth, though it hurts, is the only road that sets you free. When your soul begins to grasp this, you will no longer fear my truth. For you will know I do not come to stroke and soothe, but to rescue. I do not lull you to sleep. I rouse you awake. And in that call, the enemy trembles, because it knows your soul has begun to first awaken. As that awakening spreads, you will look back on the wounds, the losses, the admonitions that once caused you pain, and you will realize they were all the signs of a hand drawing you back from the brink. Yet not everyone learns that lesson. Some listen, some refuse. Some, when shaken, awaken. Others, when stirred, grow angry. History has proven this many times, and there a new chapter begins, where you start to see that those who scorn warnings always pay a price. Whenever I look upon the past, I see a current soaked with human tears, tears that came too late. History does not grow old, child. It only changes its shape. The stories I left in Scripture are not for amusement, but for you to grasp this. What once caused the ancients to fall can still cause you to stumble today. Every warning I have spoken is repeated not because I lack creativity, but because the human heart rarely changes. In the days when Noah was building the ark, the world mocked him. They lived, ate, drank, and married as if tomorrow would surely come. They thought the sky could not pour rain from emptiness, and that my word was mere scaremongering. But when the first drops fell, laughter turned to cries, jesting to pounding on the door. They called my name, but I had shut the ark, not out of cruelty, but because the warnings had been sent too many times. When the heart opens only in a panic, even mercy arrives like a wind too late. Look at Noah, and you will see. The difference lay not in fate, but in listening. He had nothing more than others, save one thing: he believed what he had not yet seen. While the whole world drifted with the ordinary, he chose to go against the current, and the very madness in the world's eyes saved him and his family. Those who were clever by reason, those who were practical, those who knew better, were swept away with the flood. That lesson, child, remains intact. Warnings are not only for the openly sinful, but also for those too confident in themselves. Do you remember Lot's wife? When the whole city of Sodom was in flames, I told them not to look back, yet she turned not from curiosity, but from regret. She regretted the house, the memories, the things she once called her life. With a single glance, she became stone. That glance is the emblem of so many souls today. When I call them forward, they still look back, still cling to what I am asking them to release. They say they love me, yet will not leave what keeps them far from me. And so they stand there, hardened in a journey left unfinished, unable to go on and unable to return. And Israel, child, I carried them out of Egypt, split the sea for their path, rained manna for their bread. Yet within days they complained. They remembered the pots of meat in Egypt. They cast a golden calf to adore. My warnings came through Moses, through fire, through thunder, through rain. Yet their hearts were hard as stone. They heard, but would not let faith sink in. They knew, but would not let trust take root. Thus they wandered 40 years in the desert, not because the road was long, but because their hearts were short. You see, those who disdain my warnings are not abandoned by me. They imprison themselves in a pointless journey. I remember David too, the man after God's own heart. He had heard the alarms of conscience, but one night another voice overpowered him. One glance, one desire, one choice, and sin slipped in like smoke. When the prophet Nathan came, he uttered only one line, "You are the man." And David's heart broke. Unlike Saul, he offered no excuses. He knelt, confessed, and I forgave. Do you see? The difference between the lost and the saved is not who sinned, but who listens when the warning comes. In every age, my warning still sounds through preaching, through scripture, through conscience. But people, like children too used to their father's voice, begin to find it ordinary. They think they have heard enough, that they already know. Yet, to understand without living is like knowing the road and choosing a dead end. Some hear me daily, read my word each morning, but when I touch what they love, they fall silent. When I press what they hide, they change the subject. Warning is turned into theory, while reality sinks in a gentle, deadly sin. Child, do not think history is only for the ancients. It is still being written in your life. Each time you fall quiet before my prompting, you write another page just like theirs. You may live in a modern century, yet your soul can still stand in the desert like Israel, still look back like Lot's wife, still scoff like those in Noah's day. And if you do not wake, you will repeat what they did, pass by your only chance to be saved, thinking there is still time. But there are exceptions, souls who heard, feared, and returned. Like Nineveh, under Jonah's preaching, they did not wait for hail to fall or wrath to blaze. From king to commoner, they fasted, humbled themselves, and wept for having forgotten God so long. And I, who had resolved to punish, relented. Not because they deserved it, but because they listened. When human hearts bow low, my heart cannot help but lift them up. A warning has never been a period. It is a door of hope, if you will step through. As for those who persist in stubbornness, who keep on scoffing, who treat my word as wind, they will discover that judgment does not arrive in a single clap of thunder, but comes quietly, day by day, within their very lives. Every false joy grows hollow, every laughter loses taste, and all they cling to slowly turns into a burden. That is the punishment no fire required, only emptiness. Let history teach you, rather than let it repeat itself upon you. What happened to them is not a fable, but a mirror for the present. When you look into it, do not only see their failure, see the message I send to you. Do not keep walking that road. Warnings always precede disaster, as lightning precedes thunder. If you see the flash, stop. For when the thunder sounds, it is too late to turn back. If you grasp this, you will see that mercy always goes before judgment, but mercy cannot save the one who deliberately turns away. I do not wish to punish anyone, yet I cannot ignore a hardened heart. And so I keep sending reminders, signs, people, events, not to destroy, but to save. Therefore do not wait for miracles to believe, nor for losses to awaken. Look back, listen, be humble before I must fall silent. For when I am silent, it means every warning has been spoken, and that silence, child, is the heaviest verdict of all. Yet if today you can still hear even a flicker, even a faint voice within, this is proof that I am still here. If you can still hear, you can still be saved. And that is why I go on calling you to teach you the right response, wakefulness. Today, there are dawns that wait for no one. When the sun rises, the mist dissolves, and the field is already changed. So grace does not remain forever with those who only hesitate. Many souls stand forever at the crossroads, hearing the call but not moving, feeling the prick but not changing. They want to be saved yet still clutch, want to return yet dare not let go. And I, looking on, can only sigh, "Child, no one can hold my hand while embracing the abyss." Every warning, every jolt, every event aims at one thing. You must respond not with tears, but with action, not with a feeling, but with a real step homeward. You keep thinking you will begin tomorrow when you are less busy, less tired, less dry. But child, tomorrow is the mirage the devil paints to lull souls into delay. It knows that if you do not return today, tomorrow will never come. Every lost soul once said, "Just a little longer." Every fallen kingdom once had the chance to be saved. They simply hesitated. Do not become like them. For one day, when time closes, the deepest pain will not be the sin you committed, but the opportunity you let pass. Wakefulness is not fear. It is recognizing what is truly fearful, growing accustomed to the dark. You have lived through so many of my calls that you no longer feel moved. You hear of grace as if it were a tale, read scripture without trembling, pray with an empty heart. This is not because I am far, but because you have stopped expecting me. To awaken is to rouse that sacred sense again, to know how to weep at a rebuke, to tremble when you see your fault, to ache when you hear my voice. When a heart can still hurt for what is right, it is the sign it is still alive. You ask me, what must I do to return? I do not require great deeds, only that you begin. Take steps that are small but real. Speak one, "I'm sorry," instead of 1,000 excuses. Pray for a single minute with your whole heart. Stop in the midst of a small sin, instead of waiting until you fall hard. Many imagine the road back is a steep climb, but in truth it is a single turn. One single step and the light will touch you. I do not demand perfection. I only ask that you do not grow numb. Child, do not be afraid to begin again. My door is still open, not because you deserve it, but because I have never grown weary of waiting. I waited through the nights when you did not pray. I waited through the days when you forgot me. I waited through the moments you hurt others yet told yourself you were fine. I did not leave. I only stepped back so there would be room for you to return. The moment you turn, I will run to you. The moment you sigh from exhaustion, I will gather you in my arms. That is true love, a love that not only forgives but restores. Awakening is not only turning around, it is learning to stand firm. The world will try you again with the very things that once made you fall. It will send you sweet voices, praise, and chances to forget that you were just rescued. But this time, you are not alone. I have left you instruments to keep you, my word to light the way, my spirit to lift you up, the fellowship of faith to guard you, and discipline to train you. These are not chains, but armor. Put them on, and you will not fear when the dark returns. I do not promise the road will be easy, but I promise it will be true. The peace I give is not tranquil ease. It is steady ground. It does not come from dodging waves, but from knowing who holds the boat. There will be days when the wind rises, your heart reels, and old temptations return, but this time your faith will be more than words. It will be your oar. And though the boat may pitch and heave, it will still set its course toward my harbor. My child, do not let today drift by like yesterday. Each day I give is not merely time, it is an opportunity. When the sun sets, that opportunity closes, and no one knows if another dawn will follow. Do not live as though you have forever. Be awake, be grateful, Be obedient in the small things, for it is the small things, done with faithfulness, that build the great kingdom that will be yours in the life everlasting. And as you live this way, you will see it. True peace does not lie in everything going well, but in knowing you are in the right place, in the Father's embrace. When you walk knowing you are loved, every event becomes a teacher, every stumble turns into a springboard, and every warning becomes an encouragement. Watchfulness ceases to be a dread. It becomes the joy of one who knows they are living truly, loving truly, believing truly. If yesterday you were lost, then today is your chance to step back onto the path. Do not try to erase the old footprints, just keep going, for my light will go before you and fade the darkness. I do not require you to arrive at once. I ask only that you keep moving toward me. Each small step is a victory. Each fall followed by rising is a song. And as you persevere, you will understand. The right response is not to do something grand, but to be faithful in the little, day by day. Then one day, when warnings are no longer needed, and your heart has learned to discern the good, I will have little left to say. There will be no fear, no tug of war, only a deep stillness, a place where you and I look upon one another, and you understand that every command, every caution, every trial I sent was only to lead you here, to the place you belong. In that place there is no regret, only peace, for you have learned to listen, to answer, and to live. And so regret will never again be your final word to me. Though human beings may refuse the invitation of the Creator, my love never stops pursuing. In the depths of my original design there was never a shadow of destruction. I did not create humanity to watch them wither in an abyss, but to live and to walk with me in eternity, where light never fades and love knows no bounds. Yet amid the flashing lures of earthly vanity, people have slowly forgotten that whispering call. They chase mirages that seem radiant, bow before the powers of money, lust, and fame, unaware that they kneel to idols of their own making. Those who reject truth think themselves free, but they bind themselves in chains of darkness. They fancy themselves wise while enthroning a frail, blind self, and the higher their pride climbs, the farther they drift from the light, the more they lose their bearings on the ocean of delusion. All the while, the Maker of all things waits with patience. My love does not lose heart at betrayal. I walk the dusty roads humanity raises, and I knock softly on each heart with a soundless voice, the voice of conscience, the ache to come home. Every sigh in loneliness, every moment when false joy rings hollow, is my whisper in the ear. Return, for with me is the living spring. Yet many hear without understanding, and see without recognizing. Their hearts are as stone, where the seed of grace cannot take root. They refuse the light for fear of exposure, afraid to face the truth about themselves. They fear losing what they think is happiness, not knowing that the very things they cling to are the prisons that shackle their souls. Child, do not be like them. Open your heart to the invitation of love. When I come like the breath of the early breeze, do not wait for the storm to seek me. When I speak in stillness, do not wait for thunder to startle you awake. For the one who remembers the Creator only when disaster strikes is like a person who seeks water only when throat and tongue are aflame, and often the spring has run dry, stopped up by their own indifference. The Holy One does not delight in anger, but I am just in all my judgments. My love is a fire warming the faithful and consuming falsehood. For the sincere seeker, that fire is guiding light. For the willful refuser, it becomes a weight, a burning away of all pretense. Not because I desire punishment, but because darkness cannot coexist with light. As night cannot hold the dawn, so souls that cling to sin cannot stand in the presence of the holy. I have given humanity everything sky wide, earth broad, ocean deep, mountains high, stars strewn across the vault of heaven, all mirrors of the Creator's splendor. Every flower that opens, every drop of dew, every passing breeze is my gentle note. Yet people forget to look up, forget that it was my hand that stretched out the heavens as their shelter, and that I inscribed eternity upon their hearts, so they would seek what lies beyond matter. I placed within them a thirst. Nothing in this world can quench the thirst for true love, for communion with the source of life. And still they hand that thirst over to things that perish: reputation, riches, lust, hollow knowledge. They drink from cracked cisterns and call it happiness, while the living spring runs beside them, waiting for them to bend and drink. Therefore my love is not a feeble love that gives up, it is strong enough to refuse abandonment. I pursue the wanderer like a father chasing a wayward child. I call by 1,000 means, through events, through people, through dreams, through those silent moments when one thinks no eye sees them. Yet whenever I draw near, many shut their doors, fearing the light will dissolve what they have hidden. It is sorrowful, they choose the dark, believing it is freedom, unaware that freedom is found only in the light. Remember this, child. No one is born to be forgotten. Every soul is a melody the Creator has written with His own loving breath, but that song sounds whole only when it harmonizes with Him. Far from Him, its tones go astray, warped amid the world's clamor. Let your heart become my dwelling. Let your breath keep time with the breath of eternal love. Only then will you truly live, not merely exist, but live with meaning, with peace, in union with the Source. Look at the world around you, so many souls drifting in a nameless thirst, so many eyes empty. Though their hands hold everything, they hunt for joy in loud laughter. Yet, when night falls, the emptiness returns. They have forgotten their origin, forgotten they were made to love and be loved. The Creator did not fashion humans as tools, but as children. I long to share my joy with them, to see them reign, create, and walk beside me through the beauty I have made. Every breath, every moment, is an invitation to come back. Do not wait until the heart falls silent to discover where true life is found. Let each day be a homeward journey to the one who has engraved your name upon his palm. And when you choose the light, when you open for me to enter, the world may not understand and may mock, but a peace, immovable, will rise within you. You will know that though storms rage without, within you there is a sheltered place where the Lord of love dwells. Hold fast to that faith, for I have promised, whoever comes to me, I will never cast out. And once this love has touched you, you will never be the same. These quiet days are counting down toward an appointed hour, when light and darkness meet, when the world sinks into turmoil, and every value is overturned. Today many hail evil as praiseworthy, call deceit wisdom, and trample and jeer at truth. Many who deem themselves wise are blind before reality, and many gentle souls are treated as if they are astray. But child, do not let the crowd's clamor shake your heart. Do not let your eyes be dusted over by the glitter they throw to hide their inner void. The crowd, though vast, often does not know where it is going. It hurries down a broad road, gleaming and bright, that leads to the chasm of the soul. Walk the narrow way, where only the footsteps of those who heed the whisper of truth can be heard. There I am with you, though the world does not recognize me. I do not say this to sow fear, but to rouse your weary spirit amid the sweet invitations of the dark. Wake up, for time waits for no one, and the harvest draws near. When the trumpet of heaven sounds, all that is hidden in the human heart will be laid bare before the light. Nothing will remain concealed. Blessed are those who heed my warning and prepare their lamps, for when the bridegroom comes at midnight, they will not be caught unready. Their lamps will blaze in the night, lighting the path into the everlasting kingdom. But woe to those who mock my word, who lull themselves in a dream of false peace, saying peace, peace, while ruin stands at the door. They think themselves secure, but theirs is the security of one sleeping aboard a sinking ship. As for you, Do not fear their scorn. Do not tremble when they deride you for believing what I declare. They will call you a dreamer, obstinate, a soul out of step with the age, but remember, their disdain is a passing wind, while my gaze is ever upon you and will never turn away. Do not seek comfort in the hearts of others, for human hearts shift like the waves of the sea. Seek instead the endurance within your own heart, where love does not change. You may feel lonely when you walk against the current, yet within that loneliness you will hear more clearly the voice of the Eternal One. That loneliness is not a punishment but a grace, for only in stillness does the soul recognize what is true. Be courageous, child of light. Stand in the midst of darkness without letting the darkness seep into your soul. Let the lamp within you burn on, even when the world conspires to snuff it out. When they laugh, return a quiet smile, for you know you are guarding a treasure they have not yet seen. When they oppose you, answer with love, for only love can overcome hatred. Do not let your heart become a battlefield of anger. Keep it a dwelling place of peace. Know this, the contempt of the world is but a passing drizzle, yet distance from God is a desert that stretches into eternity. Choose to remain in me, for in me you will find true life. When the storms of this world rise and every value is overturned, you will still stand firm, for I am your shield and your stronghold. You will not be moved, for your roots have sunk deep into the heart of the eternal rock. My child, do not forget that truth needs no crowd to validate it. It carries its own light. A single small candle can drive back the darkness of a closed room, and a faithful soul, however small, can make the dungeon of falsehood tremble. The world will try evermore to silence you, because the voice of light dazzles their eyes, but do not be silent. Speak, even if your voice trembles. Keep walking, even if your feet grow weary. Believe, even when everything around you collapses. Faith is not born in fair weather, it is forged in the fire of trial. Remember, when the world is at its darkest, dawn is nearest. Light never dies, it is only hidden for a moment. And when the trumpet resounds, all things will be made clear. Justice will rise, truth will be enthroned, and every lie will burn like straw before the holy flame. Then you will know why I called you not to follow the crowd, for the reward of the faithful is not the applause that fades, but the unfading glory of eternity. You will see that every steadfast step, every faithful tear, every whispered prayer has been engraved upon my hand. I know every wound you have borne, every mockery you have heard, every moment you felt faint of heart. I know it all, and I am there so that you do not fall. The world may take your honor, your goods, even your body, but it cannot take a loyal soul if you keep it in my hand. Therefore, stand firm like an ancient tree in the storm. Though the wind lashes, the roots cling deep. Be a light in the night, guiding the lost back home. And when you feel you have no strength left, remember, it is precisely in weakness that my power is made perfect. Do not rely on your own strength, for yours is limited. Lean on mine, for I do not grow weary. Let your heart blaze like a holy fire, not the fire of anger, but the flame of love and truth. The world may laugh, but I smile with you. The world may reject you, but I receive you. The world may forget you, but I have carved your name upon the palm of my hand. Do not be afraid, for I have overcome the world. Do not doubt, for my promise never changes. One day, when the trumpet peals, when the veil covering all things is drawn back, when holy light shines upon every soul, you will see that your faithful tears have become jewels upon a crown of glory. Then the scorn once spoken will lose all meaning, and the mocking laughter will scatter like stray wind into nothingness. You will hear the gentle decree, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." And then you will understand that every patience, every waiting, every suffering you endured was not in vain. Therefore, my child, keep your heart in peace. Let your faith be as a lamp that does not go out. Walk on, even when the way ahead is dim, for I am leading you. Do not let the laughter of the world make you forget the call of eternity. Look farther, beyond all vanities, for what awaits you is not darkness, but the radiant dawn of the kingdom of heaven. And I, who have called you, will never depart from you. Believe this, for my love for you is the one thing that never changes, though heaven and earth may pass away. I remain near you still amid the desert winds and in the whisper of morning. Little one, do not fear when the night seems longer than the dawn, for the deepest place of darkness is where my light is preparing to break forth. You are not lost. You are being led along a road where you learn to trust. Each step you take, though trembling, lies within the gaze of my love. I am not only the one who gives promises, I am the one who keeps them with my own heart. When you are weak, do not strain to prove yourself strong, for in that very weakness my power is fully revealed. I do not ask perfection of you, only a sincere desire to return. When you fall, do not run away in shame, for my hands are always ready to lift you up. I do not count how many times you stumble, I count the times you turn your eyes back to me. There are seasons in your life that seem barren, when prayers rise and then vanish into the air and your heart fills with doubt. But do not forget, child, a seed begins to sprout only when it is buried deep in dark earth. In the pauses that feel meaningless, I am quietly at work, tending your soul with things you do not yet understand. I know every tear you shed, every hidden sigh. No tear is wasted when it touches my heart. At the very end of weakness, you will learn how to take hold of strength, born of faith, and then you will see that miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they are the gentle peace that settles in the midst of the storm. I created you not to be dissolved in the currents of life, but to be a witness of light in the world. I do not promise that you will never face trials. I promise that I will turn every trial into an opportunity for you to grow. Every wound you carry I will make into a door through which light can enter. Every storm you endure I will use to forge resilient wings. You are called to rise not by your own power, but by the grace I pour into your heart day by day. When the world names you with narrow labels, I call you by the name I engraved in my heart before the foundation of the world. You are mine that never changes. Do not be afraid when you are misunderstood or hurt, for there is no wound I cannot heal. Some people will walk out of your life not because I have forgotten you, but because I am making room for greater good to enter. I do not take away to leave you empty. I take away so that you may learn to rely on me. When I prune a branch, it is not to destroy, but to make the tree bear more fruit. My pruning may hurt, but it is pain that leads to restoration. As fire refines gold, as rain washes dust away, as wind carries seed to new soil, everything you pass through is weighed by me in love and wisdom. I never keep silence to abandon you. My silence is not absence. It is an invitation to listen more deeply. In that quiet I am whispering, you are still in my heart. At times you want thunder, yet I come as a gentle breeze. You ask for dazzling wonders, yet I arrive in a smile, a helping hand, a simple word of comfort. Do not wait for me only in the grand and spectacular, for I often hide in the ordinary to see whether you will recognize me. Every limit I set is not a shackle but a fence of protection, lest you wander into the abyss. When I say do not, it is not to deny joy, but to guard you from losing true freedom. True freedom is not doing whatever you want, but choosing the good even when it costs you the easy way. Understand that every command and every teaching I give is not to bind you, but to lead you back to the wellspring of life. If you could see from my vantage point, you would know that everything I do flows from love unshaken, needing no proof, never failing. When you tread a road strewn with thorns, remember that your wounded feet are tracing the path to glory. No journey reaches eternity without passing through trial. You are not called to avoid it, but to overcome it in the strength of grace. Each time you choose to rise instead of surrender, you have already conquered the darkness. I see those hidden victories, though no one else may know. To me, every small effort of yours is more precious than silver and gold, for it is woven from faithfulness. My child, do not compare your path to another's. Each person has a road of their own, and I guide each one in my own way. Some I lead through valleys, others to mountain peaks. But wherever they are, the destination is still my heart. Be faithful to the portion of the road entrusted to you, for only there will you see the glory I have prepared. Let your heart be like an open field receiving the seed I sow, even when that seed must be buried in cold earth before it can multiply. I know your longing to be understood, to be loved, to belong, and I tell you this: in me you already have all you seek. No one can steal what I give, and no power can separate you from my love. When you trust, you will see miracles in every breath. Each morning you wake is proof that I have never left. I have placed within you a flame that never goes out, no matter how fiercely the winds of life may blow. Your task is to guard that flame with faith, with hope, and with love. I do not look at you through the lens of past failures, but by the light of what you can become. I see in you my own image dimmed by sin, yet radiant when washed by grace. You do not need to strain to earn my love, for my love requires no reason. You need only open your heart to receive it. Do not seek me in far-off places, for I am present in every beat of your heart. When you learn to listen to your heart in the quiet, you will hear my voice tender, gentle, and yet full of majesty. And when you have come to know me, you will understand that everything I do moves toward a single purpose, that you may become like me, brimming with love, radiant with light, and alive with fullness. I do not want you merely to be a follower of mine, but one who carries me within, so that wherever you set your foot, that place is lit. You will become a living testimony that love can transform all things. When you forgive those who have wounded you, when you choose love over hatred, when you choose patience over resentment, in that very choosing you are reflecting me. My beloved child, remember that you were not made to live in fear but to walk in glory. Do not let the past imprison you. Do not let sin define you. Do not let failure choke your hope. Fix your gaze on me, the one who conquered death, the one who makes the impossible possible. When you take my hand, nothing can separate you from the eternal path. Every wind will turn into a song. Every tear will become a bright jewel. Every wound will stand as a witness to love. You will come to know that everything I allow is permitted to teach you one thing, that I am enough for you forever. Therefore, step forward even when the road ahead is veiled in mist. Keep faith even when you do not yet see the fruit. Keep loving even when that love is not returned. For I, the one who began the good work in you, will also bring it to completion. No power, no darkness, no trial can snuff out what I have kindled in your heart. You belong to me, that is a truth that never changes. And one day, when every trial has passed, you will look back and see that every step you took and every breath you drew were witnesses to an unfading love, the love of the one who chose you before all ages. My dearly loved child, as you read these words, let your heart settle into the deepest quiet of your soul. What I speak is not fiction, not the faint echo of a fading legend, but living truth beating in the heart of every creature. Heaven is real, hell is real, and your soul the eternal essence into which I breathed. My spirit is no less real. The world may mock and turn these truths into the playthings of clever minds, but at a certain hour, when the final veil falls, every soul will stand before that eternal reality with no place to flee and nothing left to deny. Do not wait for that hour to believe, for belief then will be too late, and every regret will fall like an echo into the void. Believe today, in the light of grace inviting you home. I do not demand that you present great merits or prove your devotion by feats of prowess, for heaven is not a prize bought by human strength. Yet heaven does not open for those who willfully scorn love, trample grace, and treat the salvation bought with my Son's blood as a small thing. I stretched out my arms upon the cross, bearing every wound so that you might be cleansed, made alive, and brought home. That gift is beyond price, yet freely given, requiring only that you open your heart to receive. But if you turn away, if you refuse, if you make light of that love, then you yourself choose the path of separation, not because I cast you off, but because you chose to be far from me. I speak these things not to threaten, but to awaken your heart, for I love you more than you can imagine. I have watched over you since before you were formed. I called your name among countless living souls. Every breath you take, I have kept. You are not anonymous before my eyes. You are the precious jewel I hold in my hand. Every pain you endure, every tear you shed, I see, and in every hidden cry of your soul, I am present. Child, do not doubt your worth. The world may make you feel small, insignificant, adrift upon an endless sea of faces, but to me, you are singular. No one can take your place in my heart. When you lift your eyes to the heavens and see unnumbered stars, each shining in its own way, know that you are the same. Do not let wounds, sins, or failures persuade you that I no longer want you. I have loved you not because you are flawless, but precisely because you are frail. I chose you not when you were strong, but when you had fallen. I am not waiting on the mountaintop of glory for you to climb. I have descended into the valley to carry you home. Therefore, when I warn you of hell and of eternal estrangement, it is not a sentence, but the urgent plea of a father striving to keep a child from the edge of the abyss. I do not desire your fear. I desire your understanding. My love is not a chain, it is a pair of wings. When you truly know me, fear dissolves, for perfect love casts out fear. Let your heart remember this. Not a single prayer, however small, is ever lost. When you whisper in the night, I listen. When you weep in silence, I count every tear. When you offer a song, however faint, it rises like incense before my throne. I rejoice in your praise, I smile at your trust, and I am moved when you return. After wandering, the world may forget and people may look away, but I do not. My love does not tire, and it does not fade with time. You may go very far, but you cannot outrun my love. I pursue you, not to judge, but to embrace. There are times when you feel alone, as though your prayers go unanswered, yet sometimes my silence is the deepest reply. Like a teacher who grows quiet during the test, I remain near, watching and waiting for you to pass through and mature in faith. If your joy depends only on my gifts, you will never learn the lesson of steadfast love. But if you still trust me amid the trial, that trust is itself a victory. I do not promise a life without sorrow. I promise that in every sorrow you will never be alone. Child, life in this world is but a passing mist. The things you chase, the splendors you clutch, will vanish like morning dew before the sun, but your soul, the deepest part of you, endures forever. I formed you not merely for today, but that you might live forever in my glory. Therefore, do not let the world make you forget your origin. You are not of the darkness, you are of the light. And when you live in that light, no matter how deep the night around you, you remain a lamp burning bright. Do not be terrified at the mention of hell, but do not be indifferent either. It is not a place I desire for anyone, but the natural end of a soul that refuses love. As a room grows dark when its door is shut against the sun, so a soul that rejects grace steps of itself into shadow. I call to you not to impose, but to rescue. I do not want you to live under the dread of punishment, but in the joy of the redeemed. I want you to know that though your sins be as scarlet, I can make them white as snow. Though you wander far, I know the way to lead you home. Remember, my child, my love is not a distant theory but a ceaseless river of mercy. I gave my only Son so that death would no longer rule and the gates of heaven would stand open to all who believe. That grace is not a license for carelessness, but the strength that helps you rise after every fall. When you stumble, do not despair. Take my hand, for that hand was once pierced to hold you without letting go. Everything I say to you today, child, flows from boundless love. That love does not require your perfection, only your honesty. Offer me a whole heart, even if it is scarred, for those very wounds make you beautiful. In my sight, they are the marks of a pilgrim's faith. Do not seek me in worldly splendor. Seek me in the quiet, where you can hear my whisper calling your name. And when you hear that voice, do not delay. Answer, return, for I am waiting for you. I do not desire your ruin, or that the darkness swallow you. I want you to live fully in love, in freedom, in unfading joy. Heaven is not far away. It begins the moment you choose to love, to believe, to forgive. When you live by that love, heaven has already been sown within you, and one day that seed will blossom in everlasting light where you and I will be parted no more. Beloved child, engrave this upon your heart. You are the intention of love, the joy of the Creator. The world may change and time may pale, but my love for you never alters. I call you, I wait for you, and I will not cease to love you until you return, and forever after. From the dawn of all things, when the first light pierced the void and life began, my voice resounded among all beings. I have never allowed humanity to drift in a silence without direction or sign of mercy. Age after age, generation after generation, I have spoken and called people home, showing them the path of life where truth and peace meet. Yet time and again, my voice has been forgotten amid the clamor of desire and pride. My word, which is light, has been cast aside as if it were nothing, and in the blindness of mind and hardness of heart, people have chosen their own way, mistaking it for freedom while stepping into the chasm of error. How many times I have patiently warned, and still they do not see that every warning of mine is no threat but the throb of tireless love, the breath of boundless compassion. Truth never falls silent. Only human ears close and human hearts turn to stone, unable to hear the pulse of eternity. When humanity turns away, consequence is never slow. It comes like a darkness slipping through the cracks of the soul until it covers all. Regret then becomes bitter, for every word I spoke ripens like seed in its season. Remember the days of Noah when the earth was filled with violence and deceit surged like a swollen river, when every intention of the human heart leaned toward evil and there was no place left for mercy or reverence. I saw it all, not with the cold eye of a judge, but with a heart broken by compassion. I warned them, I prolonged the days, I gave them time to change, yet they mistook my patience for delay without meaning. They did not understand that every day I stayed, my hand was a day of grace, a door left open for repentance. I sent my servant Noah, the righteous man, amid a corrupt generation to proclaim and to warn of judgment drawing near. For 120 years his voice rose among the crowds, amid laughter and scorn. They kept eating and marrying, building and living as if nothing would ever change, treating my word as madness and the echo of superstition. They did not see that I myself was lengthening time for their sakes, that they might yet return. But when that day arrived, when the deep opened and the waters of the earth rose to meet the torrents of heaven, it was too late. When the door of the ark was sealed by my own hand, no one could open it. Their cries rang out amid the tempest, but no ear could hear. They pounded the door, begging for a way out, but Noah could do nothing, for I had closed it. Then the waters swallowed them, not only their bodies, but the dreams and the pride that had made them spurn my call. I took no pleasure in it, for my heart has never rejoiced in destruction. But justice cannot be twisted, and their stubbornness became judgment upon themselves. I have seen in their eyes small shoots of goodness, yet they are veiled by the dust of ambition and pride. They trust in their own strength, convinced they wield enough power to decree their fate, forgetting that even the breath they draw is a gift from me. I have called to them through every upheaval, through the signs woven into nature, through the stirring of conscience within, yet they were silent, or they mocked, or they turned away. Some say, if there is a God, why does he not appear and speak to us directly? Not knowing that I have spoken in countless forms, in the whisper of the wind, in the light of dawn, in the tears of the innocent, and in those very silences that trouble their hearts. But their souls are too loud to hear. My child, I am not a lover of punishment. I am love itself, and every warning I speak is born of that love. When I speak of judgment, it is not to threaten but to save. Yet love, when refused too long, becomes a consuming fire. My tears fall with the rain as I watch them sink beneath the floods. I have waited for their return, but their hearts hardened like stone, and the waters dissolved what they had built. Human history repeats the same pattern. People circle between arrogance and ruin, between promises and betrayal. Each generation is granted light, yet they prefer the darkness, for darkness lets them hide their sin. I am not absent, yet they live as though I do not exist. When I bless them, they call it their own achievement. When I withdraw my hand, they lament their fate. They forget that my presence is the warmth of this world. Were I to step back completely, even for a moment, all life would crumble into ash. I do not grow weary of calling, but the human heart chills quickly. I send my messengers, those who speak on my behalf, who dare to be shamed and scorned so that a few souls might awaken. Yet the world stones them, mocks them, and breaks the wings of those who carry the word of truth. And when darkness finally descends, people learn the worth of a single small light, but it is too late. There are souls who understand, yet they are lonely in their understanding. Quietly they guard my word, even as the world spins into the vortex of sin. These are the ones I keep, as I kept Noah in the ark amid the deluge. But do not think I protect only the righteous. Even the sinner I watch over, waiting for a single tear of repentance that I might open my arms. I do not delight in human sorrow, yet neither can I ignore it when they choose the path to ruin. For if I were to force them to love me, that love would no longer be free. Freedom is the greatest gift, and the burden humanity does not know how to bear. In these days the world is again, as in the time of Noah, brimming with violence, deceit, and smug self-assurance. People worship themselves rather than the one who granted them life. I am still speaking, still warning, still waiting, but who is listening? My voice is drowned in revelry, in the delirium for fame and wealth. They call darkness light and treat truth as an inconvenience. Remember this, nothing in this world endures except love and truth. Every human work, however grand, will collapse if it is not founded on what is true. I do not demand perfection. I ask for a heart willing to open. Each time you turn back to me, the world is reborn. Look at the storms, the upheavals, the suffering not as punishments, but as reminders that all vanity will pass and only the soul is worth keeping. Look again at the story of Noah, not merely a legend, but a mirror for all ages. The door of the ark stands for grace, and when it closes, it is not because I wish to shut anyone out, but because I honor the choice they themselves have made. I have been, and still am, knocking on every heart. Each time you hear within you a whisper toward the good, that is me. Each time your compassion stirs at another's pain, that is my warmth moving in you. I am neither distant nor cold. It is humans who have built the wall of sin and pride that stands between us. But if only once they would bow low, if only once they would dare to say, "Lead me home," in that very instant, I would gather them into my embrace. My love does not change, only human hearts do. My child, tell the world what you have heard today, that I am still speaking. Tell them that every warning of mine springs from love, that every tear I shed is for mercy. Do not let them wait until the door closes to seek me, for their tears will not unseal what has been sealed. Remind them that in every moment of their lives, I am still walking beside them, patient, quiet, tender. And though the world may drown in chaos, I remain the lighthouse on the open sea, calling wandering souls back to the harbor of peace. Remember Lot and the city of Sodom, the place where the cry of sin, of cruelty and injustice, rose to the heavens and pierced the heavy clouds to reach the ear of the Almighty. That land, once blessed to bear fruit and abundance, sank into human corruption, the conscience of its people worn to the bone. I saw hearts turned callous, eyes blinded to the light of right, and souls entangled by lust, power, and pride. When I sent my messengers to warn them, they would not listen. I did not come to sow fear, but to offer a last chance to those whose hearts could still tremble at the truth. Lot, righteous, in a city of wickedness, yet bore the hesitation of affection and pity for kin gone blind, and even he lingered. When I commanded them to leave, not to look back, not to bind their hearts to what had already been condemned, it was not merely a command for survival, but a test of faith. Yet human weakness prevailed, and Lot's wife turned to look as if tethered to the past, to its comforts, to the familiar life already rotten to the core. In that backward glance, she chose to remain with what was judged, and in a moment she became a pillar of salt, the emblem of everlasting regret. Tears could not dissolve that salt, just as remorse cannot rescue the soul that turns back toward the fire. They had been warned, they had heard the call of mercy, but they treated it as jest, absurdity amid the pleasures of their gilded days. Their laughter died when the earth shuddered and the sky split open to pour down a rain of living fire. Sodom, once bustling, became ash in an instant, its cries swept into the wind, lost in the smoke and gone. I had roused them, yet they chose to ignore me. So it is in every age. Humanity rejects the truth whenever it wounds their pride. They would rather drink sweet falsehood than accept the bitter medicine of truth. They speak of freedom, yet it is a mask that hides their slavery to appetite and desire. They demand justice, yet they crush the weak and deceive the gentle. And when true justice arrives, they cry out to it as Savior, but by then it is too late. The story of Lot and Sodom is not merely the past, it is a mirror held to the present, where the same errors are reenacted in new forms. How many today still look back, still cling to what is being destroyed, fame, wealth, the dominion of the self? How many hear the warning and laugh, thinking it remote, supposing the world too civilized to fall? Sin needs no city to reign, it lives in the human heart, and when the heart decays, no wall, however high, can shield it from the righteous force of justice. Lot was led out of the city, not because he was stronger than others, but because of the mercy of the one who made all things. Those hands took hold of him like a trembling lamp in the night, to preserve the remnant of light left in humankind. This proves that even in the deepest darkness, mercy never sleeps. Yet that rescue is not perpetual if people will not keep faith, if they will not truly turn back. For even the saved can be lost if their hearts keep looking toward what has been condemned. This brings to mind Israel in the wilderness, led out of bondage, witnesses to miracles, fed with manna from heaven, who still complained, still doubted, still longed to return to Egypt, the land that had chained them. Human memory is quick to forget, and faith is as fragile as morning mist. They forget that the road to freedom is never strewn with roses. It runs through hardship, trial, and the loneliness of belief. In the ruin of Sodom, we see not only punishment but a reminder. The forbearance of God is not without end, and mercy is not indifference to sin. If justice were to vanish, mercy would lose its meaning. I do not destroy to satiate wrath, but to save what can still be saved, that the living may learn holy fear and awake. Remember this: Lot's hesitation nearly cost him his life. His wife's backward glance cost her soul. The scoffer's laughter cost them everything. In each of these figures, we can find our own reflection, standing on the thin edge between belief and doubt, going and staying, obedience and resistance. That story still tolls like a bell to remind us that when the hour comes, no one can escape the judgment that befalls the choices they have made. Sodom was reduced to ashes, yet its fire still burns within every heart, the fire of testing, of judgment, and even of hope. For those who bow before the light, that fire becomes a lamp for the path. For those who turn away in scorn, that same fire will consume their souls. Thus, the memory of Sodom is not merely the tragedy of a city, but the sorrowful music of humankind, sounding whenever we forget that faith cannot be replaced by mere reasoning, and that life cannot be kept by half measures. Therefore, let that lesson be engraved upon your heart, so that whenever you hesitate, whenever you long to look back, you remember the pillar of salt in the wilderness, the emblem of a soul unable to part with sin, frozen between past and present. Do not let your heart turn to stone. Do not forfeit salvation for one backward, wistful glance. For when the light has called, step forward, even if a desert lies ahead, for only there does the dawn of true freedom rise. My beloved child, my word still resounds amid a changing world like an undying flame in the night of humankind. I am the one who remains from the beginning unto all ages, unshifting and unchanging. I spoke to your forefathers and to the prophets, and now I speak to you as well, for my love has not diminished, and my mercy still overflows. Time flows on like a river carrying countless lives, yet my word never fades. It stands firm like an ancient mountain, like the sun that rises every morning, shining on the just and the unjust alike. The hour draws near. The trumpet is poised to sound in the heights, to awaken souls who slumber in the dream of this world. Many still mock, as the crowds in Noah's day laughed when he built an ark beneath a blazing sun. They did not believe until the waters swept all away. Others are like the people of Sodom, lost in pleasure and selfishness, unaware that fire from heaven waits. And many hearts have turned to stone like Israel of old, ears hearing yet hearts unmoved, eyes seeing yet blind, lips speaking my name while souls stand far away. But you, my child, do not be like them. Keep watch amid this spell, for the wise are those who fear the Lord, who read the signs along the way, who hear the whispering call within the wind. Open your heart, open your ears. Listen not only with the mind but with the soul, so each word of mine may fall within you like seed sown on good soil. I do not warn you to make you tremble, but to rouse you from the long sleep of the world. Every word I speak bears love within it, as a father cautions a wayward child not to punish but to save from the abyss. I have seen many reject my word and lose themselves in the night, only to find at the end that the sole thing remaining is regret. But if you keep my word within your heart, remorse will never touch you. For my word is the light for your path, the shield that covers you, the cool spring in a desert land. Make it your treasure, for gold and silver corrode, riches vanish, but my word endures forever. Cherish each word as a precious gem, as bread for the soul, for only it can satisfy you in a world dying of a sacred thirst. My child, do not make light of my word, and do not let the clamor of the world drown the voice from heaven. People rush after fame, power, and vanities that fade. They think such things are life, yet in truth they walk toward death. Pause in the frenzy, draw a deep breath, and listen in the silence. There you will hear my voice, gentle as a breeze, yet stronger than thunder. I am calling you still, day by day, hour by hour, in the midst of all your busyness. Return, for my heart is ever open. Know this, each time you wander, my heart bleeds, but each time you come home, heaven breaks into jubilant song. Do not fear when you stumble, for I will not abandon you. Do not be ashamed of your weakness, for in weakness my strength is made manifest. Remember, I do not choose the flawless, I choose the willing, that I might transform them. Let me refine your soul as a smith melts iron to forge a keen blade. Your pain is not in vain. Your tears are not wasted. Every drop I keep in remembrance. Each trial you endure is to purify you, that your faith might grow sturdy like gold proved by fire. My child, do not delay. Each passing day is one step nearer to the appointed hour. The trumpet will sound without warning, like lightning rending the sky. Then the ready will be caught up in glory, while the careless stand aghast in regret. I do not desire this for you. I desire you to be mine in a place where there are no tears and no fear, only light and love. Let your soul fall into step with the breath of heaven, that your heart may learn true peace, a peace the world cannot give. If you heed my word, your life will no longer be a weary chain of days, but a song of offering. You will no longer feel alone in the storm, for I myself will be your strong refuge. I will walk beside you through every night. I will dry your tears when you weep and lift you when you fall. You will know that no pain is meaningless, for I use all things to teach you to love, to forgive, and to live for what is higher than yourself. The world will change, empires will crumble, and the prides of humanity will be forgotten, but my love for you will never change. It is deeper than the sea, higher than the sky, more enduring than the mountains. Set your trust there. Do not lean on your own understanding or schemes. For when you yield, I will guide. When you believe, I will bring it to completion. Every step you take, even in the dark, will be lit by my light. And when you look back, you will see that every winding road, every stumble, every tear has led you closer to me. My child, life is not given for fear, but for growth in love. I call you not to bind you, but to set you free. I teach you not to afflict you, but to make you strong. Each warning is a bridge, stretched from the abyss to the safe shore, the hand I extend amid the rushing waters. Take hold, do not let go. Let my word become your breath, the rhythm of your heart, so that when you speak, others hear love. When you live, they perceive the light. And then, when time is no more, and the old world dissolves like smoke, I will welcome you home. You will enter a kingdom where suffering is no more, and every song blends into unending joy. There you will see me face to face, no longer veiled by shadow or distance. You will understand that everything I ever said, every warning and every call to repentance, was only to bring you to that day. Beloved child, keep your heart tender. Do not let the world make it hard. Love, even when wounded. Forgive, even when the other is unworthy. For in so doing you are becoming like me. I am love itself, and whoever lives in love lives in me. Let this be your truth, your very breath, for it is the way that leads to everlasting life. However swiftly the years may pass, each day quietly draws nearer to the appointed hour. Then light and darkness will meet not only at the borders of the world, but within every human soul. Every heart will be tested, who will remain with the light, and who will yield to the swallowing dark. As the end approaches, the world grows more chaotic. People name evil good and praise cunning as though it were wisdom, while purity of heart is dismissed as weakness and folly. This world, my child, no longer discerns what is true and what is false. People laugh amid the collapse of their own souls without knowing it, for the light within them has long gone out. But do not let your heart sway with them. Keep your eyes fixed on me, for only I can lead you through the turmoil without falling. Do not measure your worth by the crowd's applause, for the crowd is fickle and blind to truth. They hail one thing today and trample it tomorrow. Do not follow them, for their road leads to emptiness, to the abyss where light no longer shines. I have not called you to please the world, but to live in truth, even if that truth makes you solitary. For only in solitude can you hear my voice, the gentle sound amid 1,000 noises. Do not fear the darkness, for in the deepest dark my light burns brightest. Do not fear the world's derision, for its words are like wind upon the hill. What is truly fearful is losing my presence, for without me your soul becomes parched like cracked earth beneath the sun. Keep watch, my child, for time is short. The harvest draws near, and when the trumpet sounds, no one will have time to prepare. What you have hidden will be revealed. What you thought forgotten will rise before the true light. Blessed are those whose lamps are kept burning, for they will be welcomed by the bridegroom in the night, while others lie asleep in oblivion. I tell you this, there will be those who despise you simply because you choose another way. They will call you extreme, outdated, ignorant of the new age. Pay them no mind. Every age has the call of darkness, only its form changes. In one age they burn temples, in another they burn the truth. Whatever the guise, darkness is still darkness, it never conquers the light. Do not fear their laughter, for it is the laughter of those who do not know they are weeping. As for you, keep your heart in peace, for your peace is the strongest weapon against the chaos. Remember, I say these things not to alarm you, but to make you sober and ready. I do not want you afraid, I want you prepared. This world will vanish like smoke, but the faithful soul endures forever. When all else collapses around you, honors, wealth, position, the one thing that remains is faith and love. Do not let what is passing take the place of what is eternal. People seek peace in treasure, but true peace is not found in earthly storehouses. It is found in your union with me. Know, my child, that the loneliness you bear is not a sign of failure, but a witness that you are walking the right path. Those who walk in the true light are seldom many, for the narrow road has little room for crowds. The price of living in truth is isolation, but its reward is a freedom no one can steal. Stand firm, for no crown is won without suffering. As gold must pass through fire, so must your faith pass through trials to be made pure. Do not wait for the world to understand you, it has not yet understood itself. Do not expect it to love you, it has not yet learned to love what is true. You need only know that I love you, and that love will not be shaken though heaven and earth pass away. When you collapse, I will lift you. When you are lost, I will seek you. When you are weary, I will be your rest. Let me become your strength, for your strength has limits, but mine is boundless. Rely on me as the branch relies on the vine. When storms arise, know that I still hold the helm. Though your boat is tossed, the sea remains in my hands. Keep your heart at peace, for fear never stills a storm, but faith can bid it be silent. Do not look at the waves, look at me. When your eyes are fixed on me, you will not sink. When you place your trust in me, you will walk the deep without fear. You must understand, light was not made for ease, but to shine where it is hardest. So too with you, you were not called to a life of comfort, but to become a lamp in the thickest night. Be steadfast, for every act of love, every word of truth, every faithful tear has weight before me. Nothing you do out of love escapes my remembrance. Though the world does not see, I see. Though the world does not understand, I understand. They may strip you of many things, your honor, your joy, even your freedom, but they cannot seize your steadfast soul, for it belongs to me. And at the very moment of your weakness, I will make you stronger than ever. True strength does not arise from muscle or volume of speech. It flows from an allegiance that does not waver. When the light within you flickers, Let me kindle it again. When you feel lost and unmoored, be still and call my name. I am always near, never a step away. Do not let hatred stain your heart, for hatred is a fire that scorches the very hand that clutches it. Forgive, for forgiveness is the proof of love. When you forgive, you become like me, and that is the highest glory you can attain. One day, when all is fulfilled, you will stand before the radiant light of eternity. Then former sorrows will gleam like jewels, and the tears you have shed will become precious stones set upon a crown of glory. The taunts that once wounded you will scatter like dust beneath your feet, and you will hear me say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." That word will be the fitting reward for every pain you have. Therefore, child, do not grow weary in doing good. Though the world is dark, do not let your heart be darkened. Though others flee, you stand. Though others laugh, you pray. Though others betray, you love. For only love can triumph. Do not fear the fire, for fire refines gold. Do not fear tears, for tears wash the soul. Keep a humble heart, for the proud soon fall, but the lowly are lifted up. Do not let the world make you forget the final aim, to meet me in the life everlasting. All else is but a passing breath. Live as though each day were your last, yet hope as though eternity opens before your eyes. Do not tremble when shadow covers all, for the light I bring never goes out. Do not despair when you are abandoned, for I have never abandoned you. And when the last trumpet sounds, you will not be afraid, for you will know that I have called you by name. You will walk amid glory, no more tears, no more pain, only the light of eternal love. That is the end of every trial and the beginning of unending joy. Child, live worthy of your calling. Keep faith to the very end, for your reward is greater than anything the world can bestow. And I, who began a good work in you, will bring it to completion on the day of splendor. Take heart, be strong, love to the uttermost, for love is the road that leads you back to me, a road that never dims, never ages, never goes astray. I keep calling your name in the rush of life, amid the clamor that fills every quiet space within the human heart. Do you hear it, the gentle whisper of mine, still sounding through the tumult, a summons to return, to come back to the peace your soul once longed for? Do not let the hurried rhythm of living make you forget that the soul needs rest in the arms of its Maker. I do not call you to prove anything. I call you because I love you with a love unconditional, unbounded, and undiminishing. There are times you think I have been silent too long, yet in that very silence I am teaching you to listen with the heart rather than only with the ears. For my voice is not always thunder or whirlwind. Sometimes it is a soft breath passing through your trembling soul. When you stand at a crossroads, I know you fear choosing wrong, losing much, being hurt. But child, I do not demand perfect wisdom from you. I ask only the courage to take a step. Only as you walk can I lead. Trust that none of the turns I permit are meaningless. Even your mistakes and falls, which seem to cost you everything, I can shape into the person I intended from the beginning. Do not be ashamed of the scars upon your soul. They are the proof that you have been healed. I do not look at you with judgment, but with the eyes of a father who has wept when you were wounded and waited when you wandered. There are days you pray and see nothing change, and you ask, "Are my prayers in vain?" Truly, I tell you, not a single petition falls into the void. Every call I hear, every sigh I remember. I do not always answer as you wish, but I always act as you need. At times I delay, not because I forget, but because I am arranging what is best for you. As a father does not hastily place a sharp blade into a child's hand, though the child cries for it, so I do not grant what would harm your soul, even if you believe it to be the greatest good. Trust me, for everything I do springs from love and a wisdom beyond your understanding. I know how often your heart is heavy under failure, under past pain, under the weight of what you wish had been otherwise. But, beloved child, do not let the past imprison your soul. I have erased all your sins in my love. You need not live beneath the burden of what is gone. You are not defined by your faults, but by the grace I spread over you. Let me rewrite your story with the ink of forgiveness and hope. Open your heart that I may pour in peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. You may be weak, but do not despair. You may be weary, but do not give up, for in the very place you feel spent, my strength will surge through you more powerfully than ever. When the world mocks your weakness and people turn away because you have stumbled, I am still there beside you, not leaving you alone. I do not need you to prove your worth, for my love does not rest on achievement. You need only come and say, Father, I need you. That is enough. I will embrace you like the father who welcomes the prodigal home after years of wandering. I do not rehearse your failures. I prepare a feast because you have returned. My love does not count the times you fall. It counts the times you dare to turn back toward the light. There will be moments you look around and see others moving faster, succeeding more, seeming happier, and your own heart feels hollow. Yet each journey has its appointed season. Do not compare, do not rush, for the flower blooms in its time. I am preparing great things for you, but before you can receive them, you must be formed, strong enough to bear them. If a blessing comes too soon, it crushes rather than gladdens. Be patient. My delay is not refusal, but ripening promise. Remember, you are never alone. Though friends depart, though family misunderstand, though the world turn its back, I remain. I am in every breath, every heartbeat, every ray that brushes your shoulder at dawn. Pause and listen, and you will find I have never gone. I am where you belong. Though you travel to the earth's end, my love follows and never lets go. Even when you run, I wait because I love you, not for being lovable, but because I am love. At times you think your life is a string of losses, that every effort ends in disappointment. Yet you do not see that, in my eyes, you are maturing. Each time you weep, your soul is cleansed. Each time you stumble, you learn the softness and humility that make you whole. You have not lost. You are being taught to let go of what is not real. Whatever you think is gone, I will return in another way, truer, deeper, more beautiful, if you will trust and wait. Child, do not fear the road ahead. Though it is stony, know that I uphold your steps. Though storms arise, believe that I am in the boat with you. Though waters rise, I still hold your hand fast. Not a single wave can drown the soul I love. You will pass through not because you are strong, but because I will never leave you. And when that day comes, when you look back, you will see that every trial had meaning. You will know that every tear watered the seed of faith, and every wound opened a door for light to enter. You will understand that I never allowed pain without purpose. Every sorrow bears a rebirth. Every hardship shelters a new life. And when you stand in the light, you will no longer blame the past, but give thanks that it led you here, where you discover that I am all in all. I want you to know, this life is not merely to exist, but to be transformed. All that I permit is to teach you to love, to forgive, to recognize the good within the night. When you love as I love, you will find true freedom. When you forgive as I forgive, you will feel a deep and quiet peace. And when you live for others, you will find yourself moving in the meaning of eternity. Do not fear loss, for true love is never lost. Do not fear loneliness, for solitude is the stillness where you hear my voice more clearly. Do not fear the darkness, for in darkness my light blazes brightest. Live with your heart opened wide, even when the world closes in. Love, though it may wound. Hope, though all seems to fall. Believe, though you see nothing ahead. For faith is not sight, it is knowing I am there, even before your eyes perceive me. You are my wondrous handiwork, a gem tempered in the furnace of trial, a flower pushing through stone. I delight in you, even when you cannot see it. Simply keep walking, keep trusting, keep loving. For I, Alpha and Omega, the one who lit the lamp within you, will finish what I began. No power, no sin, no failure can snuff out that flame. You are a child of light, chosen to carry light into the darkness. Therefore, rise, my beloved child. Wipe your tears and lift your head, for I go before you and prepare the way. What you cannot understand today will one day turn into thanksgiving. All that seems shattered will become the foundation of a new beginning. And then you will smile not because life has grown easier, but because you have found me in every hardship. I am the beginning and the end, the river of love that never runs dry. Simply walk in trust, for where I am there is life, there is peace, and there you are forever held within my heart. Child, if only you knew how I long for you, you would never again doubt my love. Every beat of your heart echoes the breath I gave when I formed you in your mother's womb. Every moment you exist bears witness to my boundless mercy. You are not a drifting speck of dust among mortals, but a chosen soul, beloved, called by name. Before the sun and stars were set in place, I had you in mind. Before the world was, your name was written on my hand. Do not let the world's suspicions dim your true worth. You need not seek approval in human eyes, for my gaze already clothes you in light. This world, my child, is a thin veil between the finite and the infinite. People chase after fame, status, and wealth, not knowing that all of it is ash upon the wind. They raise kingdoms with their hands, but forget their souls are withering. I call you out of that whirlwind, that you may know true life is not in what you possess, but in the one to whom you belong. I do not promise you a gentle road, but I promise that in every storm I will hold your hand. When you collapse, I will lift you. When you lose your way, I will guide you. When you feel alone, I will be near. For I am not only your God, I am your Father, your friend, the faithful lover of your soul. Know this, child. Hell is not a place I fashioned for humankind. It is the fruit of love refused, of grace rejected, of light deliberately barred. When a soul turns its back on me, it is not driven away. It steps into the shadow of its own making. I have wept for so many such souls, souls I love who would not love in return. And heaven, my child, is not a prize for the flawless, but a home for those who know how to love. There, tears and fear are no more, only the rejoicing of souls dissolved in imperishable love. I want you there with me, singing in glory, not riven by the loneliness of eternal estrangement. Do not think I am distant. Should you reach the farthest edge of the sea, I am there. Should you hide in the deepest darkness, my eyes still behold you. Even if you close your heart in shame or despair, I keep knocking. I do not grow weary of seeking you, for you are indispensable to my love. Every time you return, heaven rejoices. Every time you repent, I do not indict you. I open my arms as a father embracing a wayward child. Come home. I do not require you to prove sincerity with elaborate rites. I ask only for a heart that knows how to love and to trust. In this earthly pilgrimage, there will be hours when your heart feels heavy and your mind is pulled by 1,000 voices. Remember, in the depths of your soul there is a tender voice that never falls silent, mine. It calls you home, reminds you of your origin, tells you that you were born to belong to love, not to fade into nothingness. When you open your heart to that call, fear loosens its grip, because you know you are not alone. Though the road grow dark, you have a lamp for your feet, myself, the light that does not fade. Learn to see life through the eyes of faith. Every trial, every pain is not random. It is an invitation to grow in love. As fire assays gold, so hardship proves trust. When you endure and still choose to love, when you ache and still pray, when you lose and still believe, then your soul is tempered to shine like purest gold. I never allow a single tear of yours to fall in vain. Each one I store in my golden vial to become a pearl of radiance on the day you step into heaven. Do not fear your weakness. In that very weakness, my grace is made complete. When you are spent, I am your strength. When you stumble, I am the hand beneath you. When you are weary, I am your rest. I do not demand that you be forever strong. I ask only that you never cease turning toward me. My love does not change when you change, nor lessen when you fail. Even when you do not believe in me, I still believe in you. Child, if you could see what I see, you would know your soul is more precious than 1,000 worlds. I have given all to redeem you, not that you should live in fear, but that you might be free in love. Do not let past sins hold you back. I have wiped them away. Do not let the voice of condemnation drive you from me. I have silenced it with the voice of mercy. Take but a single step in faith, and I will run to embrace you. You may think I ask too much of you, but no, I ask only that you live what you were fashioned to become, a light reflecting my love in the world. When you are gentle, forgiving, and loving, you make heaven present in this life. Every small deed done with kindness rises to my throne like a hymn of praise. Nothing is trivial when it is done in love. And one day, when the mists of this life have lifted, you will find that I am no stranger, but the one you knew in every breath. You will see that every prayer you uttered and every tear you shed has been woven into a robe of glory for your soul. Then you will understand that every trial was not punishment, but preparation for everlasting splendor. Child, I am waiting for you each day, not with a stern stare, but with the gentle gaze of a father. Do not run any longer. Come home. Let me wash away your fear in the stream of grace. Let me place upon you the crown of life that no power can steal. For heaven is not only the final destination, it is the present, each moment you live within. My love, beloved, eternity is real, but my love is more real than anything you can feel. It is not only above, it flows through every beat of your life. Do not close your heart to this love. Open the door, let me enter, and you will know the peace the world cannot give, the joy that cannot be quenched, the life that cannot die. When I reign within your heart, heaven has already begun today, where you stand, within you. After that great flood, the earth grew green again, the rain ceased, and the rainbow arched like my covenant with humankind. It was not mere color in the sky, but my promise that though humanity fall again and again, I will not erase them, for within every soul a spark of goodness still glimmers. Yet people forget, their memory is shorter than breath. When the sun shines, they deem the storm an illusion. They return to old habits, stacking their towers of stone and pride, straining toward the heavens to prove they need, not the one who made them. And I keep watch in silence, not with a condemning glare, but with the deep sorrow of a father seeing his children stray. Love cannot coerce. I wait with patience for the day they realize they are lost in a maze of their own design. The more the world advances, the colder human hearts become. They devise marvels and surrender their holiness. They speak of peace with hearts full of hatred, of justice with hands clenched around self-interest. I behold the cities ablaze with lights, yet lacking the light of compassion. They chase progress without seeing that progress without a soul is an empty shell. I knock on every heart, but the door grows thicker with the steel plates of a chilly reason. They think themselves wise, yet their wisdom blinds them to what is simple, that life is not their possession, and love cannot be manufactured by machinery or power. Child, I have seen generations come and go, empires blazing and then crumbling into dust. Each believed itself immortal, yet nothing endures except love. When hearts make no room for kindness, when justice is bent, when honor is sold for gain, when the voice of truth is stifled, then they sign their own sentence. I need not hurl calamity, their sin is enough to undo them. Like a seed rotten from within, it needs no axe from without to fall apart. Still I wait and hope, for even a single soul, however small, can spark a flame of hope for all humanity. At times I allow people to taste suffering, not to punish, but to teach them the worth of what they once despised. As a father lets a child fall that the child may learn to stand, I also let humankind face consequences that they may know every deed resounds into eternity. I take no pleasure in their stumbling, but I know only then can they sense the value of grace. In pain, they learn humility, and when their hearts bleed, the seed of love can finally break the soil. Many times I have sent into the world those who bear my light, prophets, sages, souls chosen to remind humanity. They spoke of truth, mercy, and justice, and were often mocked, slain, and cast out. The world dislikes truth because it exposes the dark corners it would hide. But light cannot be extinguished. The more it is refused, the more it blazes. The blood of the righteous shed upon the earth is not wasted. It sinks like seed, and one day it will blossom into a garden of new life. I am still nursing those tender shoots in the world's heart, slow, fragile, but destined to bloom. Understand, I am not the past, but the present and the eternal. I am not far off in the clouds. I am in your breath, in a mother's gaze as she holds her child, in the hand stretched out to the poor. Every act of love, however small, is my reflection. Yet the world seeks me in grand miracles, in the spectacular, in blinding brilliance, forgetting that I hide myself in simplicity and humility. When you feed the hungry, when you forgive the one who wronged you, when you weep out of compassion, there you meet me. But, my child, I also see what is coming. A new deluge rises day by day, not of water, but of indifference. People kill one another without swords or knives, with words that are cold, with apathy, with the turning away of the face before another's pain. They imagine evil is only bloodshed, not knowing that silence before wrongdoing is sin as well. I see hearts grown barren, souls like deserts parched, yet unaware of what they thirst for. They seek in money, in renown, in flesh, yet the more they grasp, the more hollow they become. And in that invisible thirst, they do not recognize that I myself am the living water they have sought all along. Once more I call, not with thunder, not with fire from the heavens, but with the sound of a gentle breeze within your soul. That voice is not loud, yet it can melt the hardest iron heart. Listen, for that voice resounds to all the world, a summons to return before darkness closes in. For when the door of grace is shut, it is not I who close it. It is the human heart that has chosen to. And then I can only stand outside and weep. I still believe in the good within every person. However far the world may fall, I still believe that love can raise all things to life. No sin is greater than my mercy. No soul is lost that bows in repentance. Yet I cannot save those who refuse to be saved, for love cannot coerce. I have set within each person the flame of freedom, and that very flame can warm them or consume them. Humanity is free to choose, and I honor that choice to the end, even when it breaks my heart. Do not think, my child, that I see only faults. I also behold every effort, every hidden sacrifice that no one else knows. When you forgive in silence, when you give of yourself for another, when you keep an honest heart in a deceitful world, I see it all. No act of love is meaningless, not even the smallest. Every good deed is a drop pouring into the sea of hope, and that sea is rising slowly, yes, but without ceasing. One day it will flood the darkness and sweep away every falsehood, as the waters once cleansed the earth, but this time it will be a flood of light. When you see this world in turmoil, do not despair. Every breaking foretells a rebirth. I am making all things new, not with clamor, but with the quiet of a work of recreation. As a seed must die to sprout, so must humankind pass through night to find the true dawn. I have not abandoned them. I am working silently within the very chaos itself. When you behold suffering, do not see only tragedy. See also a call to love more, to awaken more, to return more closely to me. And remember, my child, that every soul is a story I am writing. Some chapters are blood-stained, some pages soaked with tears, yet the final page will always be light so long as you do not close the book midway. Believe that no pain is without meaning, for every wound can become a mark of salvation. I turn ashes into new soil, I turn tears into clear springs, and I turn failure into the beginning of blessing. My love never runs dry, no matter how many times humanity betrays it, so do not be afraid. Though the world shifts, though the storm of sin sweeps many things away, I am still here. As I once stood beside Noah amid the flood, I now stand beside you in the tempest of this age. I do not promise to remove every hardship, but I promise to walk with you through them. When you are weary, I will be the place where you lay your head. When you stumble, I will be the hand that lifts you up. When you are lost, I will be the light that leads you home. And one day, when every storm has passed, you will understand that every warning, every waiting, every tear of mine was for one purpose, that you might live and live in everlasting peace. Now, beloved child, lift up your soul, that every word and every breath may become holy incense rising before the glorious throne of the Creator. Offer your prayer not with lips alone, but with a heart that knows how to love, to trust, and to give itself. Almighty God, who formed me from nothing, I bow before you in awe and gratitude. Amid a world of chaos, you remain the unchanging wellspring of peace. Teach me to hear your voice among the loud clamor of the flesh, that while others chase vanity, I may keep a straight heart and a faithful spirit. Grant me grace to live each day as a gift, to choose the narrow way though it be hard, for I believe that there you await me. When I am weak, be my refuge. When I fall, lift me up. When I lose my way, be the lamp for my feet. I do not ask for an easy life, only to live in a manner pleasing to you, so that when my final breath fades, my soul may rest in the embrace of your love. Father of mercy, you know every hidden pain I shelter in my heart. There were nights I wept for being lost, days I felt unworthy of love. Yet in that darkness I still beheld your light consoling me and guiding me home. Forgive me for the times I doubted, for the moments when pride obscured your radiance. Teach me to be humble as dust, to love as your only begotten Son has loved humankind. Give me a tender heart, moved by the suffering of others, ready to reach out rather than turn away. Father, transform me, that I may no longer live for myself, but live to glorify your name. Almighty God, I give you thanks for loving me in my imperfection. You did not reject me in my sin, but opened your arms and welcomed me back. I thank you that each morning I awake to your light, still drawing breath to live for you. Your love is so great that I cannot contain it in words. I can only bow in silence and gratitude. You are the one who turns what is broken within me into the very opportunity for restoration. Gracious Father, I thank you that when I thought I had been forgotten, you quietly kept me safe. When I wandered in the dark, you patiently waited for my return. When I was afraid, you were my peace. When I was weak, you were my strength. I know there is not a single moment of my life in which you are absent. I offer this wholehearted gratitude to you as the fragrance of a sincere soul. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.